Welcome. What you're looking at is a slide from babynames.com. I've placed the verse Numbers 6:27 in this slide so that you can reference that. It is the end of the Aaronic blessing, and it's where the Lord tells Moses to tell the people to place his name upon their children. Being obedient to the Lord at that time, that's exactly what they did. And through that, we can understand the pronunciation of the name of God because it is on the children of Israel. Slide number 2 is Obadiah, the servant of God. Again, we have Obad and Ayah formed together to mean the servant of God. This is the Masoretic text. This is found in Blue Letter Bible. And this is Obadiah 1:1. We see from the Hebrew, the second word, Obadiah, that Ayah is the Yod-He portion of that name. We see from the Greek Septuagint, the second word is Obadiah. The N, the last Greek letter, is added to all Greek names to denote whether they are male or female. Male Greek names end in a consonant. Female Greek names end in a vowel. So this name, again, written by the Hebrew scholars at the time in Greek for the people of Egypt so that they could read the Torah in Greek, the language that was being used. They transliterated all of these words by pronunciation into Greek phonetic letters that would then sound out the name. And we have Obadiah, Obadiah. Again, not focusing on the beginning of the word, but the suffix at the end denoting the portion that relates to the Lord. This would be Ayah. Yet again, these references are thousands of years old. Hebrew had ceased to exist as a common language for the people of God. These, being the oldest witnesses, have the greater validity over the current modern Hebrew. To speak of the current modern Hebrew, we have the Chabad.org Tanakh. This is Obadiah chapter 1. You can see that the beginning of the word Obadiah has been changed to Ova, with the V sound, Victor sound, Obadiah instead of Obadiah. Clearly, they understand that Obadiah is a pronunciation of the same prophet's name, and Obadiah is the new pronunciation. Why would anyone ever change the pronunciation of a name when they know that name to be Obadiah? Why is that? This is an interesting thing that they've done. They're not the only ones to do it. Again, Ayah being the end of the word, meaning the portion that refers to God, and how they placed Ayah on the end of their children's names. We'll move to the next slide. This slide, for which there will be a link in the description, leads to the Greek alphabet and an understanding of how the letter beta, the second letter of the Greek alphabet, has come to be the V sound instead of the B sound, and what that means in our pronunciation of certain words and the change of the language both in Greek and in Hebrew. So the name Obadiah was changed just like other words in Greek. Barbarous, or the barbers, barbaric. Now we say barbaric because we say it with a B sound, but the Greeks currently say varvaric or varvaric. They've changed it to a V. It's called the softening. This is done in current modern Greek, but in the classical Greek at the time that the scriptures were written in the Septuagint, these sounds were the B. And we know that because there was a book that was written, and this is the underlined portion at the bottom, where they were describing the sound of a sheep, and they used beta as the letter to describe it. Ba, ba. We know that sheep do not sound like va, va, v. It's b as in boy, as in baseball and banana. That's the pronunciation for how a sheep makes it sound, and this is known worldwide. So why have the Greeks changed it to va, va? Why have the Hebrews changed it to va, va, when clearly Obadiah is the name of the prophet? Is this the dream they dreamt to hide God's name? This only affects the beginning portion of the name of Obadiah, but we'll find out later on that they've changed the end of the names also. Yirmiyahu is the name Jeremiah. Where do they get the who from? Where is this Yahu? The people knew these prophets and spoke their names because they were transliterated in the Greek, not as Yirmiyahu, but as Yirmiyas. Ayah again. Are they hiding the name of God by changing the language? Let's move on to Jeremiah. This is the name Jeremiah God will uplift. This is the spelling of Jeremiah, the second word, ending in Ayah. This last letter I'm unfamiliar with, but I'm still going to continue to say that his name is Ayah and finishes with the Ayah sound, because in the Septuagint, the Hebrews of the day knew what it sounded like and chose Greek letters, iota, I believe that's an epsilon, rho, epsilon, mu, iota, alpha. Maya, Jeremiah, Ayah again, with the consonant added because it's a Greek. But the name is Ayah, Jeremiah, not Jeremiyahu. There is no U in this name. And this was the name used by the Hebrews of the day when the Septuagint was written, thousands of years before Hebrew was reconstituted as a language. Thousands of years before the Masoretes came, about 1,000 years before the Masoretes came and added vowel points to tell us how to pronounce these words. The Greeks already knew how to pronounce these words. The Greek-speaking Hebrews who were obedient to the Torah wrote these names down in obedience and would not have made mistakes. If they made mistakes in these names, then we cannot trust the scriptures at all. So we know that these are not mistakes, that these prophets' names did end in Ayah, and that Ayah is the portion of God's name that was placed upon the children in obedience to Numbers 6:27. The next slide is Zechariah, Zechariah, God has remembered. Again, we have the Hebrew in blue. This prophet's name ends in simply Yod He, Ayah. We clearly know that his name is ending in Ayah from the Hebrew. We clearly know that his name is ending in the Greek with Ayah and the consonant added to be obedient to the Greek language system. Zechariah, Zeta, Alpha, Chi, Alpha, Rho, Iota, Alpha, Nu. Zechariah, Zechariah. Clearly, Ayah is the portion of the name that represents God. Here we have Numbers 6:23 through 27, the Aaronic blessing from kabod.org. And 27 says, "They shall bestow my name upon the children of Israel so that I will bless them." It's written in Hebrew on the right. And clearly we see that the name of God is on all these children. Now you're going to see a list of a number of names from babynames.com. All of these names, beginning with this one, Ayah, Adayah, God's jewel. Adonai, Ayah, my Lord is God. Amariah, Ayah, the Lord promises. Ayah, Avaya, Again, we see the softening of the beta to the veda in Avaya, because what the Hebrews truly say is Abaya. Athaliah, God is exalted. Azaliah, God has spared. Avaya, or Abaya, again, God is my Father. Asaiah, Asaiah, God has made. Azariah, God has helped. Benaniah, Ayah, the Lord has built. Carmiah, God is my vineyard. Kasaiah, protected by God. Kaya, life. Daliah, branch. Daniah, gift of God or judgment. I'll let you read the rest of these. I'll do two more. Delaiah, God has raised. And El-Ayah, God, my God is God, or God is God. Many, many, many say that this name is Elijah, but E is not the pronunciation. El is the pronunciation. Elohim, do we say Elohim or do we say Elohim? Elohim would mean that Elijah is El-Ayah. El-Ayah, El-Ayah. God is God. El meaning God and Ayah meaning God. We have been pronouncing the name of Elijah wrong for thousands of years. And because of this, the name of God has been hidden, because this is the name that is most clearly representative, because everyone knows that Elijah's name means God is God. El is God. Ayah is God, according to Moses. Moses and Elijah are two witnesses that speak very clearly to the name of God being Ayah. Moses spoke this name, Ayah, and it's recorded in Exodus 3:14. And this was the name he spoke to the Israelites in Egypt that began the Exodus. Elijah has this name in his name as El-Ayah, meaning God is God. The two greatest witnesses of the Jewish people both proclaim that Ayah is the name of God. Jeremiah proclaims that God's name has been hidden by lying pastors, lying prophets who dreamt a dream. That dream would be the modern Hebrew language that has caused the people to forget the name of God. I hope that you'll see the power and the meaning in this, and the men that you have trusted, they have corrupted the language in order to hide the name of God. Ayah is that name. I'll let you watch the rest of these. Shalom.